have our bright yellow special guest, Vanessa.
We're loving our color scheme today.
It's very cute. Thank you.
We are here with Vanessa de Jesus Guzman. She is a board-certified licensed professional counselor, a mom coach of Amiga Moms. She's the host of the Free to Be Mindful podcast. We are touching on a topic today that is so near and dear to all of our hearts, which is, grief in children and teens, right? They often feel misunderstood. In this informative episode, we're going to sit down and we are going to talk a bit about specializing in supporting children and families, navigating anxiety, school, parenting, related stress, and life transitions. We got to talk about Ollie really quick.
Yes.
So what makes Vanessa very special also is she has her four-legged.
Yeah. I love it.
Her four-legged.
Hudson County education.
I'm sorry. We all went to public school in Hudson County. That's perfect. We're leaving that in. That's staying in. She's got her four-legged co-therapist, Ollie. Ollie is the therapy dog. And together, Vanessa and Ollie create just a safe space for children to express themselves, process emotions, and build healthy coping skills. So,
what led you here? First of all, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
I love this whole shebang.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right? And then this is also her first time being like a first in person. But I'm just like, when this first actually came out, she reached out to me. She's like, I love this, Jess. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is great. Because I had interviewed her also with Planted Seeds.
Yes.
And not that it didn't go anywhere. I just felt like, all right, we got to move on to the next step. But I didn't know what the next step was until I reached out to Liz. And then, obviously in the episodes, we talk about how this all kind of birthed.
Yeah.
And I was like, Vanessa, eventually you're going to come on the show. She's like, all right, I'm so in. And I'm like, well, because you deal with the littles. And, we've had Annette on. We've had her on a few times.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Yes.
Great episodes.
Oh my gosh. And just some of the things that she kind of said to kind of help all of children and just with their grieving process. So, but I think having you to come in also and talking about Ollie and, having the therapy dog, just all the things needed you to be on. We needed your input because
thank you.
And plus, we are women of color. We are also, just to have that space of comfort too, and just to kind of know a little bit more. So go ahead.
Yes,
girl.
Absolutely. So I like to say that I don't specialize in grief per se.
Sure.
But my specialization is definitely kids and their big feelings.
Okay.
Because we want kids to understand and parents to understand that there's no such thing as a bad feeling, but we all have very, very big feelings.
Yeah.
And as mom of toddlers, and then you have teens, I have a tween, we see all their big feelings all their time.
Oh, yeah.
So what I really specialize in is helping them how to cope, helping them name them where they feel it in their body, when they're feeling it, and then understanding what to do with it so that then we, in turn, as parents, don't lose our fill in the blank. Because we know that with all the things that we have on our plate, we can be really pushed to the brink. So I help kids with that. And then moms and families really help their kids and really help themselves be the best version that they can be for their kids.
Right.
And I do that with my private practice, Free to Be Mindful in Richfield, or with my mom coaching and Amiga Moms virtually, and with my sidekick co-therapist, Ollie, who's a mini golden doodle. And I say mini because he's not mini.
No, I
was sold a mini golden doodle and he's
huge. You were sold a lie. But I love golden. I think golden doodles, not only are they they're just so freaking smart.
They are.
They're very smart, but they're the most cuddly, not the hypoallergenic. Yes. They're like the best dogs.
And their eyeballs are they're human. So he stares into your soul.
Yes. I've been watching some TikToks that are like, what are you really breeding these golden doodles with? Because their eyes are they're
very human-like.
They're very human-like.
Yeah. So he'll sit there and he'll just stare at somebody. And it's magical and powerful at the same time because obviously You teach him how to sit and how to stay and how to not jump on people. All works in the therapy practice, not at home. At home, he's a hot mess.
Yeah.
But in the practice, he knows like how to follow the rules and everything. But what you can't teach is a dog's innate feeling or innate ability to pick up on our feelings.
To pick up on emotion.
And then he knows exactly
Archie
like
does that
when
all the
to
time.
go,
God,
when to lay his head on. Like they're just magical. They're really, it's a force.
Yeah. I see it all the time. Like me and my mom will be having like a conversation, and then it's like if one of us gets choked up, you see the dog will come and get all like in your neck and things like that. Yeah, no, it's we don't deserve dogs.
No. Can I tell you, I always say, and my mom says, we don't believe in reincarnation. And I'm like, well, I believe that if you're a good person here on earth, you come back as a dog.
Absolutely.
And if you were a not nice person, you come back as a cockroach or as an ant. So I'm like, Ollie was like a human in his past life.
Oh, absolutely. And a sweetie, such a sweetie. I wanted to ask, like, because obviously I'm also in the practice as well, but I don't deal with the littles. I deal with more, young adolescent and adults. What do you see the difference with the grief with little ones?
Yeah.
Like, how do you see, like, what do you see in that?
I mean, I like to explain it, and this is as sciencey as I get because science drives us, but it doesn't click, right? So as sciencey as I get, the Hulk from all of the comic superheroes, right? What was he before the Hulk? He was a scientist, very like buttoned up, proper. He can think, he can do all the things, very rational, right? All the, follows the rules. So that's our upstairs part of the brain. That's what we always think of, like, am I hurting somebody's feelings? Well, most humans anyway. Some of them, I don't know. But most people, they know like what to say and when to say it, right? Our kids, when they're experiencing these big emotions, they're not thinking with their scientist, like Hulk part of the brain. They are straight up Hulk. They're all over, right? They're, as crazy as you can get. And that's what we really have to pick up on is that we're not going to hear their words as verbal as they may be. So even for our teens that have the language for everything, but what we're going to see is their behavior. So we're going to see them regress in, whatever it is, maybe sometimes in school. Sometimes we see the exact opposite of that and we see perfectionism. So they really kind of like button up, especially maybe the type A, typically the girls, which can lead to a whole different set of issues too. Or we see them distance themselves or really isolation. Or really act out. But that's the way they're not acting out in terms of like being bad or malicious. They're just telling us, I'm not feeling it right now. This hurts. This sucks.
Right.
And we as parents want to then go try and fix everything, right? And we talk way too much. I mean, we're talking now, but we talk entirely too much instead of just like holding space for them and like letting them say or do whatever it is. And then like literally holding them so that they feel that support when they're hurting because it's hard.
Yeah.
But even so, like, I just think that's also important, right? Because I feel like we're all going to experience grief. There's no, and different layers of it and different avenues of it. But I think also, when it comes to the emotional aspect of it, a lot of people, even adults, don't have the emotional maturity to even say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm not going to project this on you.
Right.
Like, they don't even have that awareness because they're so short-sighted because of whatever.
All the other things.
Grief, trauma, whatever. And they don't know how to just have that emotional maturity to do that. But when you're kids, you don't know that, period.
Right.
Because, then it goes into the reality principle and all that other psychobabble. We go into the psychobabble.
Really
Yeah. Can you share with us a moment like when Ollie like just a big moment?
Fix everything.
Yeah, like he just really, I don't know, made a big difference in a grieving child.
I'll share with you, I've had kids. I have one girl specifically, she was in 7th grade when she came in and she wouldn't talk to me. To have a conversation with a child, regardless of age, regardless of gender, to sit there for 50 minutes and look at each other in the face, like it's kind of absurd, right? So we do a lot of play therapy, whether it is with play, books, sand, artwork, we are hands-on, but there really is some level of conversation because you want to converse in some way. This kid wouldn't talk. She was just not about it. But when Ollie was there, it was like something, and it was little at a time, and eventually she was able to do more and more.
Right.
And that's in the therapy space, which is like, it's really conducive for that, obviously, because there's nobody there besides the three of us.
Right.
However, one thing that comes to mind is I do a lot of volunteer therapy dog visits, one because it fills my heart, and I started my career off as an educator of 18 years, but I love now going into the schools and leaving. And I'm out. No paperwork.
No, that's it. No politics. No
lesson planning.
None of that. But I remember last spring, actually, going into, it was a middle school. I think it was in Cliffside Park. And this little kid, I heard him say something. And, I give a little spiel as to like what a therapy dog is, different from an emotional support animal, different from a service dog animal. And he said something. He was like, abuelo, and he looked really like sad. Now, mind you, they were just taking the state standardized test at NJSLA. So I thought he was just like over the test, right? Because they had just finished right before I had come in. And then I heard him say in Spanish and I was like, what'd you say? And then when he heard me speak in Spanish, he was like, oh, he makes me feel so much better because my abuelo in Cuba just died this morning. And I was like, oh my God. And here you are having to take this test. You know what I mean? And like under 15 minutes the visit is, but he just kind of like, so then of course I had to bring Ollie like again, know, and him just petting him. And then you kind of like saw him. And it's not that he was like bouncing off the walls, but you kind of saw that relief. And I was like, this is the power of a therapy dog, which is precisely what is the difference. Ollie.
What is the difference?
Very good question, because a lot of people aren't aware.
Yeah, no.
So we see service animals all the time. Typically they have a red vest, and that means that you shouldn't touch them when they have a red vest because they're doing a job for someone with typically a physical disability. Let's say it's a blind. Right. I have, when Ollie was trained, there was another golden doodle there, and she was being taught to get her owner the pills in the morning. And it was kind of like she had to know exactly when she heard this alarm that she had to go to the table and bring the pills in her mouth to the owner, which was phenomenal. I mean, my dog is smart, but he doesn't do that. So that's a service animal.
Still has Hudson County.
I mean, it's in the air. So then an emotional support animal does something to help somebody with an emotional need. So somebody with anxiety or depression or something like that. And they have rights, meaning that they can't get kicked out of a store. They can fly. They can do all the things because they're doing something for their owner.
How about the peacock in Newark Airport?
That was hilarious. Animal too. I don't know, but support animal. Yeah. Okay. Ollie, as a therapy dog, does absolutely nothing for me but make me look good. All he does, his job is really to help other people feel happy, which means that if somebody wants to kick us out of a store, they can. And I need to abide by their rules. And he can't fly either. Not that I'm taking him on vacation. I go on my vacation, he goes on his vacation. I come back and get back in Jersey when I come back. But that's really the difference, that he's not doing a job for me. He's working alongside with me. And his job is just to help people feel better.
Got it. So see, look at that.
Learn something new.
Always. I mean, I knew the difference between the, like the physical one, but never like with the emotional support. Okay, that makes so much sense. Okay. Yeah. See, look at that. You always, I love that. I really wish you did bring him here. But then that's what I said. I said, if you would have brought this dog here, I would have been underneath it, or I would have been like just so aggressive with him. Like, let's go play. Like, forget about this podcast. I got to go play with this dog.
That's not a bad idea to bring dogs on the podcast.
I mean,
you'll have to have me on again. And I have to bring him next time.
You would be. I mean, obviously you would be.
And he already knows. Like when I do my podcast, he goes right under the table and he just like sleeps at my feet. And as soon as I click the Bluetooth mouse off, he's like, all right, we're done. We're good. Yep. And he's ready to go, which is insane.
Wow. That's crazy. How do you feel like the culture and language takes effect, like especially like in families with grief, right? Because especially Hispanic family, right? Although I'm married into, and they call me the honorary Latina, Roseanne. Actually, Roseanne too, from the 100 Hispanic Women.
Oh yes.
So she's like, no, you're the honorary Latina. You were, married in, but you can really tell there's a huge difference with, in different cultures when it comes to grief.
Absolutely. And I think it all depends. I think with any culture, we have to always keep in mind how long they've assimilated, how long they've been in this country, because sometimes you are expecting one thing and then you're like, oh, you've been here for a long time, which is why you're like all over. Like I was expecting this and I got, something different. So that's something to keep in mind. But culture plays a part of everything because it's what we are in our blood, in our soul. It's really what we carry. Yeah. However, even within that, and my family's from Dominican Republic, but even within that, it's very different as far as like how we talk to kids about grief. I'll say in my family, fortunate and like I lost my grandmother at a very young age, but I consider myself fortunate because I feel like I was as comfortable as you can be with death at a young age, which I appreciate, because I know a lot of adults that have never lost anybody. And then it's like, it's hard if you haven't lost anybody as a kid to do it at the first time as an adult. I feel like that's just more of a shock. But, you know, we talk at our funerals, there's always like the one aunt who's like throwing herself at the casket, right? And who's like, you know, like just over the top. And then there's always like the guys laughing in the back. There's always some that are like completely distant. There's always some that like they don't know what to do with themselves, so they're always on top of somebody else. And then there are the kids that are like running around, you know,
because they don't understand.
Because they don't understand, or maybe they do, but I feel like that's a really good thing. And it's not to judge other cultures, but I appreciate that because then they get that like, okay, like things are finite, you know, and we will pass away one day. And then we say like, then they're with Papa Dios, and you know, like they're in whatever language people want to put to it. But I feel like there's something important about that then from, especially in this day and age when we really try to helicopter parent it and really try to keep our kids in this bubble. We can't do that because then we're really doing them a disservice when they get older and they don't know how to deal with big feelings, which are part of natural life.
Yeah, exactly. There was something else I wanted to ask you now. I lost my train of thought.
I had something that I was thinking about, and I think it's like, what advice do you have for parents who feel helpless when it comes? Because I mean, it was on our list of questions, but it's kind of how I feel now with the teen stage. I have my son who kind of locks up, isn't saying anything, but you ask him, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? He's like, are you rage baiting me? Like leave me alone. Like, Ma, I said I'm fine. I said I'm fine. I'm good. Bobby, do you want steak? Bobby, do you want this? And he's like, I'm just on the game. Like, can I, you know? So I feel like you have, and this goes for a lot of moms of teens, where you have like a kid who doesn't really open up. Right. And then you have another kid that does open up a lot, but they just seem totally fine. Yeah. But you as their parent know that they're not. Yeah. Right. So it's like, I guess my question is twofold. It's one, how to get one kid to open up, and the other kid to not. I feel like some teens who are really close to their parent try not to trigger them. Like, I don't want to talk about how sad I am about this because then I know I'm going to make my mom sad and I want to care for my mom. Typically the girls, I feel like, who always want to take care of their moms. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really, really big. And we want to make sure that we are not putting that responsibility on our kids, because that's a really big responsibility to have. Right. And at the end of the day, we are the parents and they are the kids, and they have the right and responsibility to enjoy their childhood and try not to take care of us. But that's really hard, because I'll say my 12-year-old, like, if I'm not feeling, he's like, Mom, are you okay? You okay? You okay? You know, and it's sweet. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, let me do me. You know, if I'm sad or if I'm whatever it is, like, it's not your responsibility. But that's hard for them to understand, because they're going to care for you either way. But as parents, we talk a lot, as I mentioned before, and we always want to fix things. And sometimes it doesn't mean, not sometimes, when you're grieving, it doesn't mean that you're broken. You know, you may be heartbroken, as I've heard everyone say before, but you're not broken. So we don't have to go immediately to try to fix something. When we want our kids to feel supported, we want to make sure that they feel safe in terms of like physical space and even emotional safety. Like, all right, I know I can talk to this person, or I know this person can get me resources if I want somebody else to speak to. And then we want them to feel secure enough to be able to share. But if they don't, that's okay too, as long as they feel safe within the space that they're in. And when we say hold space for other people, it doesn't always mean that we're talking, you know? And I think as humans, we're like, all right, how are you? Good. Like we want to have a response for something, but just being there and holding that space, even if it is, I'm going to watch you play Call of Duty right now. And I mean, I don't know if I tell my kid I'm going to watch you play Minecraft, like that would be like his ideal day, you know? But even if it's being in the same room, having the same meal, it doesn't always necessarily have to have words. And that can make a big difference for our kids. And words don't have to fix everything. But it's hard when you have one of one and one of the other.
Well, they both think I'm lame. They both think I'm lame. They both make fun of me. They have so many inside jokes about me. Like, I'll sit at a table and I'll be like, okay, so we went to church. What part of the sermon did you think, you know, really you thought about, you know, and then they're both looking at each other like, can we just eat our sushi? Like, so I like that they have each other to like
bounce off of.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, I know you're not okay. Like, could you just kind of open up? But I think something that I do personally is that I never have my bedroom door closed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always, like, they'll come, hey, Mom, good night. And I'm like, good night. And then they're like, want me to close the door? I'm like, no, leave it open. And my son asked me one time, he said, why do you always have the door open? I said, well, in case you guys need anything.
Right.
Because I feel like if you think of something to say, you're like, and you look at the door and the door's closed and you're like,
it'll turn you away.
Yeah. You don't really want to like go in there or, I'm watching The Nanny. Like, that's what I do every night. Like, I literally watch The Nanny over and over again. And it's like, but I have found that like, it's because all the bedrooms are on the same floor. So I have found like if they're going to the bathroom or they pop, that maybe they'll pop their head in or, even one day it was like, why do you watch this show so much? And I'm like, oh, it's because, like, when I was a kid, like, this is, like, in the 90s. And they're like, then they get bored and they leave.
Yeah.
But at least...
And you're lame again.
Yeah. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, I should have put on, like, I don't know. Teens, enter the chat and, like, tell us, like, what I need. I don't know. I need to have, like... And then Lee Choppa or somebody on the...
Euphoria.
No,
that's crazy.
I've never seen
I know. I haven't seen it yet. I got yelled at that I...
It's a lot.
Why haven't you seen it yet? I go, because I'm talking to you. Like, what do you think?
I have enough euphoria right now.
Right. Like, I'm here. I'm working. Like, it's so funny. I can't.
Yeah. But to your point, our presence, right? Our presence is enough sometimes. And even just being in the same room. And sometimes, and I'm not good at this because I'm not too touchy-feely, but my son will come in for a hug and I'm like... it has to be like on my terms, right? But even like just giving those extra hugs sometimes, like that goes a long way. And we don't always have to have words to like provide everything. Yeah. Like our presence is a lot.
Yeah.
Now, what tools or activities do you usually, I know you had mentioned like play therapy, sand tray, obviously I know the things, but for grief, like what do you usually hone in on?
Oof, that reminds me, and can I tell you a story? I have time for a short story.
Yeah, we have a short, yep.
When I was a school counselor in the longest district that I was in, there was the most horrific bus accident I've ever seen. I mean, this bus lost like the bottom where the wheels came off. It was over there. The bus was over there, completely on its side, fifth graders on a field trip. And the school lost a teacher and they lost a student. And a student just happened to be a twin of another student who was, it was just like horrific. And it happened in the other middle school. I was in the other middle school across town. And, right away we think like, okay, we need to have supports for where the accident happened, right? Like where in that school. Right. But even across town, like those kids were feeling it for their friends,
Like, and they don't want to get on the bus either.
No, that's
right,
it, you're done.
It's the fear of everything, And what we really saw in it, and I use that example because what comes up is just give the kids like a paper and a bunch of like crayons, pencils, colored pencils, whatever it is, and let them go. And through their natural talents, something is going to come out, whether it is, I remember one kid like making origami swans or making pictures or writing a letter, like give them tools. And it doesn't have to be just paper and pencil, but whether it is just music, whether it's making music, listening to music, if they're, in the music space, they're going to sing it out, they're going to play it out. If they're an athlete, they're going to ball it out, like whatever it is, but giving them tools that come natural to them. And if they don't have the language at that time, it's going to come out in some way that just comes a little bit more naturally to them. And just paper and pencil went a long way at that point, just for them to get their feelings out in different ways.
It's so simple.
Just talking.
It's something so
very
simple.
Very simple.
Like you don't need, I feel like the people that aren't in our realm, the professionals to try to help other, like they just want to do the most. And it's like, you don't really need it. It's kind of like, even like first time moms, like for me, I can say like, they really come at us, right?
Like
they go by all the things. Yeah. And I'm like, you could just give her like a wooden spoon and a bowl.
A box.
And a box. Oh, the box, the diaper box. Like, the most simple things.
Yeah.
You don't need the bells and whistles. So you just need real simple things. Yeah.
So that's for them to get it out. And then for parents, I think especially for littles, literature goes a long way because it's something to like hear words at you. But when you see somebody in a story have something that you're feeling, that you're experiencing, even if it's like totally different, but just like, oh, they lost something too. And losing different things. And I know we talk about loss of life here, but sometimes it's like loss of, like, I got my period, so now I've lost my childhood. You know what I mean? Or like I lost my best friend, or I lost a school that I knew for all these years because I'm moving to a new town.
That happened to me in 8th grade, 7th grade. Remember, we were all friends, and I had to move my 8th grade year.
That's huge, and you lose like that is still grief in a very different way, and not as intense, but intense in different emotional like parts of your brain. You know, so all of that makes a big impact in a kid's life, and literature really helps them see.
There's a creator on Instagram. We posted her the other day. I'll find it and I'll plug it in at the bottom of this episode. But she does a whole video about
the books.
About grief, and it's like loss of an aunt, loss of a this, loss of a that, loss of a that, really and it's all these different kinds of grief. Divorce or moving or things like that. But you're right. My mom's a librarian, so
I love it.
I always the book references are like amazing.
I love that.
Something that I learned to get your kids. It's just so silly, but I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Going to eat food where you have to use your hands. My kids can't use their phone. So we go to like a seafood boil.
Yeah.
You got to put the gloves on. You can't touch your phone. You have to sit and talk to me. Talk and eat. Same thing with like hot pot because they're cooking themselves and things like that. So I think that's kind of a good thing for like, for teens, because a lot of times in the house, it's like, can I eat in my room? Or they eat really fast and then they go, or I'm not really hungry, or can I eat after practice? But when you go somewhere and it's like, well, we're here. Sit down
what else are you going to do?
and like put your phone away, that's kind of hard. But even though if you're like at a place where you have to wear gloves or it's like an interactive type of thing, it helps.
And I love that you brought that up because it really speaks to, you can't use the same strategies on a 5-year-old that you would on a 10-year-old that you would on a 15-year-old because they're completely different like species, you know? So we really have to find where it is that they're at and meet them there.
So thank you so much for joining us. Oh my God, this it went so fast. So just go ahead and tell families where they can find you, and obviously we'll plug you. We'll do all the things.
Oh, thank you. The main place is freetomemindful.com. That is my website, and there you'll find my therapy information for New Jersey residents, mom coaching information, the Free to Be Mindful podcast that also helps mom again not lose their fill in the blank. And on social media, you can find me everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, with a lot of resources at Counselor V. De Jesus.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening and watching. And please like, subscribe, share, comment. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. Bam, got them all, I think.
Got them all. We're always like,
Yeah, I know. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining us.